Okay guys, welcome back to another section of painting and weathering the Hannebu II. If you missed out on the previous chapters, you can still see those. Click on the link above. If you don't have one and you want to build this with us, or you want to build one in your own time, click on that link. They're still available. And let's get at it. As I mentioned, there's only a couple of things I need to do to make it all complete. The Hannebu itself is weathered. I got everything done as much as I could do. The only thing I need to do is tackling the landing gear. I already prepared some of these pieces and I will show you how to do this. And then also there's one more ball turret that I need to finish. I already did some of the fading of the weathering with the oils and the washes. I'm going to do a couple more things to it. Finally, I will assemble it, put the guns on, and then I'll mount it into the bottom disc. And then that is completely done. The only thing I need to do or care about is to take care of the landing doors and the wheels. Let's finish this one so we can at least complete the body of the saucer. Again, same old thing. I'm gonna use a little bit of wash. You can either use Vallejo wash, which is pretty good. You can use the AK wash like I have over here from AK Products. Another thing is that is the oils. My two friends here, we have the smoke and we have raw umber, and so those are the major components that I use to finish this. There are plenty of washes out there, but for now, since I started this project with AK, I'm going to finish it with that, and also of course with the oils, which are, I cannot emphasize enough, these are absolute excellent quality oil paints, and it makes life and weathering so much easier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the raw umber and squirt a little bit in a little plastic tray that I have, or a blister pack, and also a little bit of the smoke of Abteilung 502, which is also, it's like the dark version of the raw umber, but it's absolutely smooth. So as far as purposes for fading, for shading, these oils are just fantastic. Another thing I use is the matte effect thinner from 502, from Abteilung 502. It's proven to be that it's actually, whenever you mix it and you make a little wash about it, it will eventually dry up like dry. It's not going to have like a sheen or anything. It will eventually dry up flat. You just have to give it a little bit of time. Another thing is, oils is based on enamel or on a turpentine base. It will take a little bit longer to dry. Once you're doing the weathering and the washes, it will take at least 48 to maybe even 36 hours before the paint is completely dry. So you have to be patient with it. Don't get anxious like, okay, this is all a little shiny and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna put like a flat coat on that. That's the biggest mistake that modelers do, is that they see that there is a couple of gloss or a sheen that they don't like. They want to coat it with a flat coat, but you take away all the depth perception. You know, all your work is going to be ruined, and you have to start all over again. So be patient. If you work with oils, it takes a little bit longer to dry, but the result is so much nicer. Okay, let's get at it. For brushes, I'm testing out, at the moment, I'm testing out the Leonardi brushes, but again, any quality brush will do. We'll sell them. We have them on our website. We have some good Vallejo brushes, some Heller brushes, some trumpeter brushes. But look in your craft store, spend a little money on brushes, because honestly, if you really want a nice result, you cannot skip paying a couple dollars more to have really good quality brushes. Quality brushes is almost 50% of your success. In this case, as far as weathering, don't go overboard. You can tell I do most of my applying of the wash with a number 4. Anything from a number 4 down will do. I mix a little bit of both there, because there's a lot of, when guns fire, there's a lot of grime, there's a lot of gunpowder, there's a lot of anything, any residue that will adhere to either the surroundings of the cupola or even like this on the gun shield. Another good thing with oils is when you apply it and it's too much or too dark, you simply wipe it off. Don't get nervous when you see that you can't stay in between the lines or something, or you're a little sloppy around it. That all will wipe off eventually. Just make sure you cover everything. And then for a good result, you put it away for about 5-10 minutes. So at least most of the thinner that you added can evaporate. And then finally you can wipe it off, and then you will fade it with a brush. You blend it basically. So while this is drying, I'm going to clean up. I already did some pre-painting on the landing gears to save time, but I'll show you with, I got one left here. There's 4 landing gear assemblies. So I already made 3. So I'm going to do a 4th one. Nothing special, it's just the regular seams You have to remove the regular seams or any attachment that was attached to the sprue. Just basic cleanup. When you clean up landing gear or you have seams all over the place, when you sand it, you know, you leave a lot of residue or dust in between cavities or creases. This multi-purpose pad will take it all off. Plus it will remove some of the flash that you leave behind. I already did 3 of the 4. I already painted it in silver, in aluminum. We have a set what we came out with for the Hannebu colors. There is also silver included. Since I don't have a set here handy, I'm using one of the metal colors. Vallejo, in this case, is dull aluminum. Any aluminum paint or silver paint will do. Vallejo has a lot of beautiful metal colors. You can follow the link. Just for time-saving purposes, I already pre-painted these. As you can see, these are the wheel doors and also the main ramp inside that gives access to the saucer. On one side, airbrushed the colors that matches the bottom disc, and then of course on the inside there is the aluminum or any silver paint. Eventually what I'm going to do is, when this is dry, I'm going to give it a slight coat of flat varnish and then let it dry, and then we can weather it. It doesn't really need a lot of work. Another thing you can't overlook, and I almost did, is the inner housing of the main ramp. You need to clean that up. I put like a coat of dull aluminum in there just for effect. I need to glue that in place before I can close the bottom and the top half of the kit. Don't forget this. Don't forget the ramp. Don't forget even to clean up the guardrails. There's a lot of small pieces that you might overlook in airbrushing or in painting, and then eventually when you come to it, then you have to do it all over again. So try to be organized. I could do a better job myself. Let's take care of it right now. First I'm going to do, still have some aluminum paint in my airbrush. I'm going to give this an initial coat, therefore I'm holding it with little pliers here. Many of you will wonder, I'm doing it over this cutting mat, and I make a big mess out of it, but this is easy to clean off. So after I'm done with this, just gonna remove it with some Vallejo thinner. So before we tackle anything else, remember we started putting some oils on there. Most of the thinner is evaporated, so now I'm just gonna wipe it off as much as I can. Now I'm using a dry brush. This is completely dry, and I just blend. And that's the beauty about the oil. You know, as long as you work it, you can wipe excess oil off or fade it, blend it, whatever you want to do with it. As long as you keep in motion, you can manipulate the oil any way you want, and the result is quite stunning. Now we're going to glue it in place here. A little bit of super glue. This doesn't need much. There you go. Also, I already pre-painted the guns, so I'm gonna apply some super glue on there. Just gonna dip it in a little bit of super glue, and then just it should all match up and line up. Yes, it does. There's the other one. What I'm going to do real quick now, I'm going to mount this in its place, and therefore I need the big disc. So as you can see, I already mounted those 3 turrets in place. We got one slot here, very easy. Drop the ball turret in. It doesn't matter what direction it is or what position it is, because you can rotate it. Then we put some super glue in 3 spots there, and then we have this bracket. Everything fits fine, not any problems. And then again, everything should be in position, and there you go. I can see I bumped one of the guns off here, so I'm gonna fix that first. Also, when you come to this stage, be very careful not to put it directly on its back, because you might break off one of those fragile guns there. I'm gonna replace the gun that broke off. Next step I'm gonna do before I can put this away, I forgot to glue that in. I'm gonna do this right now. Again, we'll turn it upside down. I'm gonna put some super glue on the 4 points here. Let it run in there. And that should be enough to hold it in place. So again, I need to flat coat everything on both sides, and for that purpose I use, most of the time I use polyurethane satin varnish from Vallejo or flat. Another one that I use that will do the trick is Vallejo's strength color varnish. It's also a matte varnish. It's a little bit more milky, but once it's dry it will dry up. It used to be that there was varnish, that Vallejo had a flat varnish, and that was not all that great. In the meantime, they corrected the problem, I assume, and either way, the result will be more than satisfactory. Just gonna go over it real quick. Put that on the side, and then when it's dry, I just flip it over and do the other side. And now I'm gonna do the landing gear. Now, if you really want your landing gear to be shiny, not to do this step and just leave it like it is, but I'm just gonna do some weathering, essentially, make it a little bit look used. So I'm gonna apply a very light coat of flat varnish on there. At least it has some protection. All the airbrushing is done, all the varnishing is done, except for the other side of this, but I can do that off camera. It's the same principle. So I'm gonna make some room here, and then we can put the two halves together, which I hope will be literally a snap tight. Here is the finished product. Everything is weathered. I'm very happy with the outcome, actually. It looks pretty impressive. Once you do all the weathering and you have all the grease spots and the fading, and just to break the monotony of splinter camouflage, I had a couple panels that I masked off, and I airbrushed some aluminum on there and then blended them in. And it tells a story that they have to replace after space travel. They came back and they had to repair some stuff. That's up to you if you want to do this or not, but I'm very happy with it. So finally, let's do what I was looking forward to do ever since the beginning, is mate the two halves together. And make sure you have enough space, because these things are pretty cumbersome and large. I got like a little container here, so I'm gonna flip it upside down. It might be a good thing for you guys to leave those off until the last minute, and then it's easier to put it on his back again, because now if I do that, some of them will break off. Lesson learned: add these guns at the last moment, at the last minute. Once you're doing the landing gear, that's the time to put those machine guns on. For the meantime, I'm having like a little old plastic container here. I'm just gonna put it upside down there. As you can see, there are holes in there, and they will match some of the pins here. So now it's just a way to... I'm not gonna put any glue on there, because I test fitted it, and it holds pretty good together. Just make sure that you line everything up where you want it to be, and it should all snap into place. There you have it. Once you're done and you're sure about the position, I like to have the ramp basically in front of the flying saucer, in front of the guns, in front of the whole busy area here. I put the ramp around here, but you can have the ramp coming out here in the back on the side. It's all up to you. So once you're secured your position, or once you're certain of the way that you want to make those two halves, then you can put super glue or any glue into those slots and just glue them together. But it should be a very easy fit. And then the only thing that needs to be done now is, of course, and I already pre-painted this, is to put the upper guns on there. Again, this is very easy. Another advice is that since they're a little flimsy, just for transportation purposes, you can shove them in there and take them out whenever necessary. It's a pretty tight fit, so it won't hurt anything, and you will prevent it from breaking. So there you have it. The whole weathering process, because of the panel line, because of the riveting, because of everything else, it's just been a blast. I'm very impressed with the paint, the Vallejo paint. I'm very impressed with the Uptown 502 oils. Everything came together, and of course, my biggest impression was with the Hannebu itself. It fits together like a glove. It is very massive, very impressive, and once you weather and paint it right, I mean, it looks absolutely how it's supposed to look. It looks the part. It is a beautiful thing. It was very easy to do. You only need simple basics to do this, and I'm gonna work off camera on the landing gear and the wheels. We come back one more time to attach the wheels. We're back where we left off. When I was off camera, I already mounting 3 of the landing gear assembly. So I'm gonna do one more just to demonstrate what I used to weather them a little bit. I also have all the wheels pre-painted. These need a little bit of touch up here and there as far as weathering is concerned. And then that's it. Then we put this in place, and then our Haunebu II is finally finished. I'm gonna take this apart a little bit, and then, so to do this last piece of weathering, I squirted a little bit of raw umber into a blister or whatever platform you can find. It's from Uptiling 502, and it's the ABT 007 raw umber. Also, I have some paint thinner here in a little cup. Let's just apply it wherever there are, like for instance here, where there is some detail. You see where the bolts are, also where the mechanism touches each other. This is probably some sort of a piston. So let me take like a small brush. For this purpose I'm using a 0, but a number 1 or 2 is fine. It's just fine. It's just to apply the initial thin raw umber. You just very gently accentuate the details. You don't need to be as clean because eventually you're gonna wipe everything off anyway. And I keep saying it, that's the good thing about oil paint. You can always, as long as you keep it moist a little, you can manipulate it until you're satisfied. You can already notice the difference. You can already see the parts being accentuated by the oil. Blending this in is going to be very, very easy. I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, maybe a couple minutes. And meanwhile, we can do some extra detailing on the wheels as far as weathering. It doesn't need much. Again, you won't see much of the wheels anyway because of the low setting of the Haunebu. It's very low on its wheel, so it's going to be obstructed from side. But still, you need to, you put so much work in this paint scheme in the weathering, you might as well finish it till the end. For this purpose, I'm going to use a little bit of AK product for this, like streaking grime. AK has a lot of products that are basically weathering related. These are based upon enamel. So you need to have an enamel thinner. Also, Vallejo does the same. It's the same quality in a way. I don't have it close here, so I'm going to use only this for now. But Vallejo is based on acrylics, but this is based on enamel. And since I'm dealing with oils anyway and I have the thinner out, I'm going to go this way. I'm only going to use it a little bit. Very inexpensive way is to use steer sticks. There's just the normal kind here. They're disposable. You can cut them in several lengths, and 9 out of 10 they will fit in the back of your wheel, so you can easily turn it around while you're airbrushing or painting it. So I'm going to add a little bit of that AK grime in there. So again, this is the result you want to get. After a couple minutes, you will see that the thinner or the enamels are already evaporated. Now it's time to blend it in. Therefore, you take like a little dry brush, an older brush that you can find, and gently start blending the oil. You can even use your hands. The main thing is to really make it like faded, like you get a faded result. If you apply in the beginning when you're applying the thin raw umber and you do it right, you almost eliminate all the work. You don't even have to blend it in. It looks pretty good to me. So now we're gonna apply the wheels. The Haunebu has 12 wheels, and of course 4 of them are for the center, so they have holes on 2 sides. It's very easy assembly. You don't even have to put glue on there. It's a tight fit. So now I'm gonna mount this last assembly onto the Haunebu, and then we're done. So as you can tell, everything is taken care of. I just need to put this in place, which is very simple. For this purpose, I took the bottom part of the Haunebu because I didn't really want to put that thing all over here, and I might break something adding the wheels and the landing gear to it. I just took the top half off. I don't think I ever gonna glue that thing in place. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Maybe later I will put like a lighting set in there. So for now, since it's really a tight fit, I'm just gonna snap tie it basically. Let's put a little bit of super glue on here. Not too much, just a little drop. And then it should fall immediately in the 2 slots. Like that. The original pieces are a little bit thick, so I sanded them down. But Squadron product through detail logo, we're gonna come out with a wheel door set. You might hold off on gluing those in place because again, like I said, we will release a wheel door set pretty soon. And that's it. You can also see here where the ramp's supposed to be. I also left that out on purpose. I will eventually glue that on there. I'm working on a little ground piece where I can put the Haunebu up, so just to get the right angle, I left that out, but don't forget to put that in place. If you're decided not to open the ramp, don't forget to glue it in place. I'm just gonna hold off on it until I finally have the right angle to place it. So, but for now, that's it. We got all the turrets in place, we got the wheels in place, the wheel well is in place, the wheel doors, everything is painted, that's basically it. So now I'm gonna put the top half on the bottom half, put it upside down and see how it looks. So now I'm gonna mount the correct position in there. So here you have it. This is the bottom. Again, like I said, the only thing I need to do is the ramp, but that's about it. And that should be it. So guys, this is it. Finally finished. Ready to be mounted on maybe a diorama or at least a little plaque. The weathering went pretty well, painting went pretty well. I'm really excited. We got some good products to do it. Not all that difficult, and it's very, very rewarding. I'm kind of sad, it's kind of anticlimactic. I'm kind of sad that it's done, but you know, I got other projects lined up. But again, this is one of my better builds. I loved every minute of it, and I hope you do too. So again, for now, Jeff E here, signing off.